Hi guys, I am kicking off the April vlog. I can't remember if I've signed off for the March vlog. Is it March? Yeah. But I know I decided to split it in half and I'm nearly done editing the first half. But I am just about to finish off just like the last 10 minutes of The How. And this is a book by Yrsa Daley-Ward, who is a poet I absolutely love. Unfortunately for me, this book, it's just not for me. It's not a poetry collection. I read it when I read the blurb that it was more of like a writing prompt kind of book, you know, and it had some sort of her own thoughts and things like that, like her thoughts about life and just daily struggles and things like that. And it does have some writing prompts in there, but that's not the main focus of it. A lot of it really is kind of like self-helpy, and it really is just kind of that sort of self-help. I think it talks about self-help on such a grander scale that I don't think it's very helpful. For example, it's, you know, it has things here like describe the very experience of loneliness, how it feels, when and where you feel it and what happens. Describe the exact opposite to the feeling you just described, aiming to feel the thrill in your body along with fantasy and with much description. When you are at your loneliness, who and what are the common denominators? What can you do today to help someone who is facing feelings of loneliness? And it's all that sort of stuff. It is about like looking in yourself and just being, and she, you know, she gives advice about, you know, making sure you're taking time to nourish your body, your spirit, all those sorts of things. And it's just like, this isn't anything that hasn't been said before. And that doesn't mean that she can't say it. Part of that is in the book about, you know, creating even if it's already been created before. But I don't find that stuff very useful. I really feel like I've moved away from self-help books that are just so general like this, but they don't give you the foundation or the groundwork to do that. And I think this book is nice for her because it's a nice thing for her to publish, because she is so like successful in her poetry career that she is able to publish these sort of words of wisdom for people. I just don't find it very helpful, and if I'd actually known that's what it was going in, I wouldn't have read it, because I would have known I wouldn't have found it helpful. So this is looking like a 2-star for me. Like, yeah, I was going to give it 1 star before, but now it's like looking like 2, because I do really respect her work and just the way she views life. It also has this other thing as well, where it has like at the end of most of the chapters, it has text in capitals, and it just says things like, take an early morning outing, listen to the earth hum its tale, get all caught up in one task at a time, find wind down time a couple of hours before bed, discuss your most intimate morning thoughts with another. And it's all of that stuff is in block capitals. I just don't really like stuff like that. So I'm going to finish it off. This was a NetGalley art from like 2 years ago, so I'm glad I'll be able to finally finish it off. And then I would be finally going to read The Source. If you haven't seen my video where I talk about the book that I've been reading for like 9 years, I talk about The Source in there. And it's just been on my TBR for so long. So hopefully this time round I will finish it. Like, I will stick with it and I will finish it. Hello guys, even though I am reading this book for my Women's Prize for Fiction reading blog, I'm going to include a little snippet here just because some of the clips that I filmed I will include here as well. And yeah, so at the moment, am I supposed to take these off? I think so. At the moment, I'm about 200 pages into this book, which is Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. And I feel like now we're getting into more of the meat and bones of the story, and I am finding out a lot more about the process of Medusa via other characters, as in by the actions of other characters. So I'm gonna keep on reading a little bit more today. Saturday, it is the bank holiday weekend, so you know, it's time to relax. I love having like this extra time and not feeling like, oh, I've only got 2 days off, I've got to like make the most of it. I can just sit on the balcony and like relax, and because it's sunny, like everything just feels so much better in the UK when it's sunny. You're just like, I am gonna take all the action I need to take in my life because the weather is great. I mean, it's only about 12 degrees, but it's not too bad. It's not like, you know, personally for me, it's not like skirts weather or anything like that, or dress weather, but it's still really nice. So yeah, and I'm also feeling a teeny tiny bit sorry for myself because yesterday, you would have seen from the clips, I went, well, you don't know where that was, but I went to Bridge of Allen and to Stirling Uni, which is where Bridge of Allen is where I first lived when I first moved to Scotland. I wonder if I included some shots of the area in my like old reading vlogs when I used to do them very occasionally. And then I walked around the campus. I did this whole loop around the lake, which I didn't even know existed, even though I went to that uni for about 2 years. But I guess when you live there and you have things to do, you're not really like, if you're coming for a visit, like you're more likely to just take your time and explore and things like that. So I did that, that was really nice. And then I ended up going to my bachata class. And then, as always follows with bachata classes, there's always like a social, and it was Friday, obviously. So feeling a tiny bit hungover, but I just love the time being able to just read and relax and just like not have much to do. I do have plans for this evening, but nothing too hectic, thankfully. But yeah, so I'm going to go back and read more Stone Blind. I need to actually return some books to the library, but let me show you what I have left. So I did show in one of my clips, I think it's going in the March Part 2 vlog, and at least it's in the Women's Prize for Fiction vlog anyway, some books that I got from the library. So I still have Transcendent Kingdom. I have renewed this because the timing on it ran out. And I still have this. This is The Book of Memory by Patina Gappa. She is a Ghanaian author, I believe. I could be wrong though, because I mean, this one is set in Zimbabwe. That's why I'm like, maybe I'm wrong, but she could be a Ghanaian author writing about a book, characters set in Zimbabwe. And then I have also finished reading this. I do need to return this. I'm just waiting until I finish Stone Blind so I can return them at the same time. But I actually read this during my time when I was in London in March. And I haven't really been doing monthly wrap-ups or any sort of wrap-ups. We've been having the flat redecorated, so there just hasn't been much space and there's just been a lot going on. So I haven't done that. But I ended up giving this, I think, 2 out of 5 stars because it started off like promising, like okay, and it's compared to like Eleanor Oliphant, it's completely fine. But this definitely, you know, confirms that the character is neurodivergent. But I don't know, it felt a bit unbelievable to me, and not in the sense that a character who is neurodivergent couldn't do these things, not like that. It was just more the foundations that they'd set and then the sort of outcome and ending. I was like, I don't know that there would have been no involvement from anyone else. Like, it seems to me like, I don't know, like how that couldn't have happened. But, and also I just didn't really find it that enjoyable. It was an okay read. So that's what I have left over from the library. There are a couple of other books that I have reserved, which I'm very excited to get. And then I have reserved some more books for the Women's Prize for Fiction, but I will talk more about that later, or rather in that reading vlog. Hi everyone, so I thought I'd speak to you about some books because I just picked this up about an hour ago and I am on page 24. This is a poetry collection. I went to an event, I believe it was last month. It was held by Verve Press and it was the launch of 3 poets, and they had 3 poets read. I missed the first one, but then we had the other 2 and she was the final poet to read, and I absolutely loved her poems. Absolutely phenomenal. I feel like I have seen her read before, or maybe I've just heard her name before, but the way she read her poems, I was like, I am sold. And she infuses her poems with the language, I guess, of her parents, of herself. I believe they are from Iran, so in here you will find Arabic, I believe, and so there are loads of phrases in here from her childhood. I really liked like how she plays with words and how she plays with language, and there is a glossary in the back, so even if you're reading the words and being like, I don't understand what this word means, there is a glossary at the back. But I think that was one of the things that I really took away when I heard her read, was just like, I love the way she plays with language. So she's also from, I believe, is it Newcastle? Geordie? I'm terrible with things like that. So there's a lot of the like infusion of the two types of language, dialect, all these sorts of things. So absolutely phenomenal. And reading this, I can hear some of the poems that she read when I watched her, and like I'm just remembering how she read them. She's really good at how she reads out her poems, but even on the page they are really, really strong. So I'm absolutely loving it. I'm actually reading at a poetry event. It's online on Sunday, and I'm absolutely bricking it. I was actually going to pull out, but I decided to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to take some time to like obviously practice reading that poem. I did read it a couple of times last year when I went to this like introductory poetry workshop, but it needs some more work. So yeah, absolutely loving that. I feel like I haven't read a poetry collection in a while, so it's really good to get back into that. I picked this up yesterday from the library. This is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. I believe this is a translated, yeah, it's translated by Roz Schwartz. I'm not sure what it's translated from, but I've got less than 2 weeks to read this now because I picked it up yesterday and it's already on hold by someone else. But this book is, well, so I've read the back and I can't remember who spoke about this and why I wanted to read it. I actually think I saw someone talking about it on Goodreads, not talking about it like it came up on someone's Goodreads. So this book is about some women that are in a prison. I think it says here, deep underground, 39 women are kept in an isolation cage. And then it has some other bits of blurb, but then it says, as light merges day into night and numberless years pass, a young girl, the 40th prisoner, sits alone and outcast in the corner. Soon she will show herself to be the key to the others' escape and survival in the strange world that awaits them above ground. The woman who has never known men. Wait, the woman who will never know men. Sorry, yeah. So I'm going to get started on that, and I am also reading this, which is Taurus, Live Your Best Life by the Stars, Astrology, Self-Care. It has a whole other books in the series, obviously, of all the other star signs. I'm not gonna lie, this is bloody pish. Some of it is just absolute nonsense. There's just like loads of stuff in here just about like, there's a section on exercise talking about like walking and swinging your arms and all this stuff, and it's like, you know, swing your arms like above your head and stuff like that because you burn more calories that way. And it was at that point that I was like, yeah, I really don't like this. There were already bits in the front that I was like, just definitely not going to do that. But it talks about like, you know, the best way to care for yourself based on your star sign, which when I say it out loud sounds stupid. So we're not really surprised at the contents of the book. But yeah, so I am going to finish this off, and then I'm going to start continue reading The Source, I believe it's called, by Tara Schwartz. If you watch my video about like the book I've been reading for 9 years, I talk about that book there. So yeah, I believe that puts me at a fiction book, a poetry collection, a non-fiction book, and then I'm also listening to an audiobook, which I can't remember the name of it now, but I'm putting it here. I don't have any thoughts on it now just because I haven't been listening to it regularly, but I'm going to try for the last half of this week to listen to it a bit more. But that is where we're at with reading. And so I feel like I've kind of taken a little break. I was reading books for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and that reading vlog has just gone up, but I will link it above here as well. So I was kind of immersed in that, but now the books that I had on reserve at the library for the other books on the short list, or the long list rather, haven't arrived yet. I'm not like, you know, I'm in the queue, but I'm not the first person obviously, so I'm still waiting on those. So whilst I do that, I'm going back to my regular reading.